I guess I can start now. I'm going to cut this anyway if it's too long.
Zum Geburtstag viel Glück. Zum
Gluck is Gluck, drink.
No, it's not Glück. Glück in German, it means luck. Zum Glück, it means, I don't know how to translate that. It means to your luck or something like that.
Best of luck to you.
Yeah, best of luck to you. Exactly.
All right. So best of luck to us.
Exactly. Hi, and welcome to the Thinking Out Loud podcast, a show with meaningful conversations in English with non-native speakers. Two of them today, me, Jedrek.
And me, Masha.
All right, great. Actually, the squad is pretty stable recently. Has been pretty stable.
Yes, as for stability.
All right, Masha, it's our second year. I mean, we have finished 2 years of recording, and we are entering our third year. Can you imagine? I mean, have you even,
not in my wildest dreams.
Exactly. The third year of recording a podcast with a fantastic audience, great guests, all of them who were so kind to visit us here. And obviously, we are hoping for, the third year to be a
even
breakthrough
better.
year.
A breakthrough. Okay.
Yeah, a break. I don't know, actually, I want to ask you a little bit about being small scale. And if you don't mind, unless there are more important things to do first, like mention our website or whatever, guys, it's tolpodcast.com. You can study with all the links are in the description. Fine.
Finally read it.
Yeah, if I go and read it finally, don't make me repeat myself. Masha, I wanted to ask you, because I've got some reflections about spending the last 2 years in this podcast and being basically a small scale podcast, right, with a handful of listeners. And I mean handful, but it's a pretty solid hand, that we are registering something like 40 plays per episode, which means that some episodes get 120 and some of them get less, but anyway, that's the average. And I don't even trust Spotify so much when it comes to the statistics. We are waiting for the Wrapped very soon, I guess. It should be somewhere here. I mean, they were actually advertising it, that Wrapped is coming and so on. We'll see about that, But I wanted to tell you because we are kind of small scale and so on, and I wanted to ask you, who do you think is a better teacher? This local teacher from your local school, or this global superstar who has a YouTube channel and who's accessible right now thanks to the internet and so on, all over the world?
Superstars are rarely accessible.
Well, I mean,
you can't get a one-on-one time with them. They sell courses
with Salman Khan, for example, or
it's just a self-paced.
All right.
Course, but a local teacher, of course, you can have classes like the classes we provide.
So, how much is it worth having, this kind of attention from the teacher versus having top class material, designed, I believe, by this superstar teacher?
I don't know. It really depends on the person, because I don't know if I should mention this writing
Oh,
again,
go
this
on, go on, go
terrible
on.
thing.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, I really want to
Guys,
learn
Masha is,
how
by
to,
the way,
come on.
a
It's just a
would-be,
reflection, you know, there are many courses online where you buy them and you simply, you know, there's a video that where they tell
yeah,
you something, then there is a task, you do the task, and
yeah.
then nobody checks, of course, what you've done, but anyway, you can do it yourself. And I think the most important thing, and you know it as an English teacher, is just this essay or whatever it is written, not that it's checked by somebody, because you need to do the work. And whether you get, I mean, feedback is always nice, but it's more important that you actually do this work.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But for some reason, I want to have, you know, this, I don't know what to call it, not communication, but when you speak with real people, when you, you know, cooperate, collaborate, or just work together with other, you know, aspiring writers, or when there is somebody who actually reads what you've written. So, but I know a lot of people would be very happy, and these are much cheaper, you know, courses when you, and materials are usually well
Because they are
designed.
scaled, right? They are
Yeah,
scaled, so
yes, they're scaled.
that's why, yeah, that's why they are able to charge, I don't know, $1 or whatever, $5 per person instead of, I don't know, 50, right? When
And I
it's
believe the
individual.
quality must be very good, because, you know, you have so much time to design this one course. You know,
Yes,
you can give it your best, but if you have
yes.
12, I don't know, 20 students, and you work with each of them individually, I mean, if you don't teach like like you, when you wing it every time, sorry, but when you have to prepare for the class, you know, oh my God, of course, just pure numbers, you know, do the math and you will understand that.
Yeah, and it's pretty messy, right? I mean, you know,
Yeah.
courses that are live and
Yeah.
you know, that happen in real time, of course. But do I get it right that you basically want to say that the individual teacher, local teacher from a local school, which may not even be the best teacher in terms of, you know, workshop, is that actually a better teacher than the superstar, Sal Khan, or someone else from you know, the top of the world?
Well, this superstar can bestow their wisdom on you, of course, but sometimes all you need, and it's just somebody to bounce ideas off, and that's enough sometimes. The person doesn't have to be super class, you know, high class teacher. You just need a person who really cares. He listens to you. He might ask you a question you would never have, you know, something you would never have thought about yourself, just because of this perspective. You know, you're not in this thing, you're not so involved, you can take this, you know, judge from the distance, you listen, well, do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I understand.
Okay.
I'm processing what you're saying, you know. Would you say the same about doctors? That your local doctor,
No.
wait a second, wait a second.
No.
Your local doctor from your local clinic, you know, in a small town, versus a big doctor from, you know, a huge clinic, big city clinic.
I thought you were. Sorry, I think I'm hearing an alarm or not. I need to check. Okay, one sec.
Oh, God damn it.
Yes, it's an alarm, but okay, I don't know what it is yet, but I hope I know what it is.
Masha
A
is in
doctor
Kiev,
is
guys.
not.
So yeah, alarms happen. How often do you get such things daily?
Yeah.
How often? I mean,
Yeah,
like,
daily.
yeah, daily. All right, but several times per day.
Well, there are different types of. I mean, do you really want to
Different
know
types
that?
of alarms. Yeah.
Yeah,
All right. No, sorry.
well,
Let's
really, it's
don't
different
want to
types
dive
of
into that, but it's
types of
happening.
alarms.
It's happening.
Sometimes, very often, it would be just, you know, their fighter jet would take off, and they are doing the training. So and we have no idea whether it carries, you know, I mean, they usually do know that it carries something like a missile. It's not like empty, and they must raise an alarm, our air forces. But what they do is they are just usually training, and they can be in the air for like 3 hours, and everything stops. And this is even worse than, sometimes even more damaging, let's say, for our economy than an attack, because businesses must close. And everybody is supposed to be, spending this time in the shelter. But of course, I mean, schools, for example, this is what they do. They have to, because they have children in their care. They have to go down to the shelter and spend 3
there's
hours,
too little,
for example.
Masha, too little of that really got through to the Western media, I guess. Too little of that, small local life, and too little of that got through. What got through, of course, was the big things, Bucha and so on, but other things like this daily struggles, they just didn't. It's a pity. All right, sorry. Hopefully we can continue our conversation, but I mentioned doctors, and
yeah, I don't need a doctor to bow. I mean, I'm pretty what should I call it? That I Google everything, and I diagnose myself, and then I sometimes need a doctor to check. So maybe in this case, yes, but if I go to a doctor, I need somebody who knows what they're doing, not just to listen to me and say, oh yeah, or just ask me the right question. No, I need a professional. So in
which
this
means
case,
that the probability of finding a professional in a big city clinic is higher than having such a doctor locally.
well, we tend to believe that in big cities they are more progressive. They have access to the latest research and stuff like that. But
yeah, they keep
actually,
training, I guess,
why do we still assume it? Because I mean, you have internet. Even in my tiny village, 130 kilometers away from Kiev, there is very good quality internet. So it's not about access, it's about willingness. So I don't know, but yeah, I would still, I mean, if I had something serious, if I was suspecting something serious, I would probably go to, I mean, I'm already in the capital city. So
but you would go to this, capital city clinic rather than local one. Do you think it's the same with schools, that local schools are pretty much behind big city schools? Or if we even go, into more details, that local teachers are behind the big city teachers? Local, I mean, I don't know what, countryside teachers or.
very difficult to say, It really depends on the person, because some people, no matter where they are, they just, when it comes to teachers, I strongly believe that, especially when it comes to primary school teachers, that the most important thing is you need to be a good person. You need to care about children. That's it. Whether you teach them anything in terms of, maths, reading, whatever, it's secondary. I think I already told it on some episode that your task is, the bar is very low. You shouldn't, you must not kill their curiosity. That's it. That's why. But when it comes to when we talk about high school, and when you are already it's rarely, but some children, they know what they want to do next. So they have these exams ahead of them. So maybe it makes sense, to find big city teacher. Sounds terrible,
Yeah, I know, but I'm just I was kind of exploring this idea of where are the good teachers, where are good teachers, and I was thinking a little bit along the lines of the economy generally, that if you have a like bustling economy in the big cities, then probably they lure the the biggest talents, and so on. Not so sure. I mean, something happens in education. Education is kind of special. Like you say, this early schooling requires just I don't know how to call that. How did you call it? Affection? No, it's not affection. It's
Just need to be a good person and care
yeah,
about,
just yeah.
genuinely care, because some people like children, some people don't, and that's, I mean, I love my children, but
Hmm.
I can't say that I have it. I know some people, you can see it, they genuinely
Hmm.
love children.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
we
that's
should
true.
find these people. We should pay them a lot of money so that they are
Hmm.
happy being without children, this half of day.
Yeah, that's for
They're
sure.
real gems,
And then as you progress in the education system, what you need is basically more of expertise than this, affection or caring or whatever.
No,
I wonder
caring must
if
always be there, that this person,
mhm,
really cares about your results, you, and stuff like that, but who knows if we have great primary school teachers, maybe. I mean, they teach you by year, I guess 7, 8,
mhm.
children should already know how to learn. Once they get it, maybe they don't even need teachers much. I mean, it's nice to have this everything structured and organized, and get a little help from time to time. But if they really know what they want, if they're interested in it, I mean, they can give them a tablet with the internet
Yeah,
connection.
yeah. That was the idea, I guess, of Shugata Mitra, who just realized that, oh, these kids, they can learn everything given, access to the internet, and that's it, and they can come up with even sophisticated stuff like, I don't know, the process of, it wasn't photosynthesis, but it was something even more complex, and they cracked it. All right, great. No, this is interesting. It's really interesting.
What does it have to do
Various.
with us celebrating 2 years?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's a very good question. I mean, it's just what it has to do is that we are local. I mean, this is also tricky, but we are like small scale individual teachers, right? Who happen to teach a handful of people, and I wonder if by means of this podcast, for example, if we could somehow radiate this,
I
yeah,
don't like
radiate.
these words, radiate
Sorry,
and
sorry,
all
but no,
your.
but I mean, look,
Mhm.
if you're a good teacher, if I'm a good teacher, we assume that, okay?
Uh,
Okay, it's an
let's assume
assumption.
you're a
Okay,
good teacher. Okay.
and then I wonder if getting online with a podcast, which is theoretically available to everybody on this planet, right?
Hmm.
I wonder if we actually
If we can make a difference, just 2 people.
yeah, I mean, yeah, exactly. We can make a difference if we can actually provide good education to people via a podcast or what I mean. I mean, if
But
whether
this
we
is
could
why we
basically,
started this podcast.
I can't remember the beginnings, honestly. I think wasn't it about meaningful input that we
Yeah, but
wanted our,
isn't it education when it comes to learning a language?
you mean input?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's part of the equation, of course.
Yeah.
Of course, but you can't say that all we are doing is just we are just providing input, because there is always certain content, right, I was thinking, you know, thinking back to the beginnings, you know, when we were all you know, shaking and recording this podcast, you know, with our pants full.
And glitches. You remember the glitches?
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Oh, that
Yes.
was a glitch. Oh my God. Now we have to
Yeah,
re-record them.
yeah. Or I
Got it.
mispronounced something. Come on. Let's. Yeah, but what I wanted to say is that you see, I lost the track of my thought. I wanted to say that you know, it was and it still is very hard to say what is this podcast about, sort of, you know, and what is your philosophy of teaching and so on. But I guess if someone listened to all of these episodes, and I don't know how many were there, but probably around 60 right now, or maybe more. So
What do you
I
mean? There are
think
52 weeks in a year, right?
yeah, but we had a huge
It's
break
been
between
not huge.
between I think February and
February and
September of 22, the year when the
September?
war the year when the war broke out. Yeah.
I thought
Yeah.
we had a couple of months break. No,
Well, that was a couple of months technically. But
February, March.
yeah. Yeah. Anyway, I mean, I think I mean, whatever, you know. But I think Masha, we have something
Okay,
like.
75. Let's go for 75.
You sure about it? I may
Well,
count it now, but I think it's.
I say 70.
All right, whatever, you know, be it 7, you know.
Okay, okay.
But
Mhm.
anyway, I want to say that if somebody listened to us throughout, you know, these hours of conversations, whether it was only with you or with our guests, or you know, and so on and so forth, I guess a person could have a decent picture of us and what we are doing and what's our philosophy and so on. Even though it's very hard to do it in like one episode. We tried several times, but not even in one episode, but you know, we tried to have some sort of a summary, right, of what we are doing, what we believe in, and so on. But I guess it's very hard. However, I feel like, you know, after 2 years of talking here to you, maybe there is some picture that is actually you know, possible to
You
distinguish.
can always test it on you know who.
Who you mean? The one whose name should be mentioned? All right. Yeah, we have we had some constant.
Give it all our episodes and ask it. What is these guys' philosophy?
Oh, you're right, but it's not so easy to give it all episodes because you would have to have a transcript. So yeah, but this is doable, I guess. It's doable. I mean, there is software that could actually.
There's still
except
no downloading or giving it a link. There's still
it's not so easy.
option?
It's not so with audio. It's not so easy. Not yet, at least.
You wait
Images,
a couple
yeah.
of weeks.
Text, yeah, but there's also I guess a limitation. Anyway, but it's a very good point, Masha. You know, so I was thinking about starting season 7, you know, equipped with AI tools, you know, with subtitles and whatnot, you know, beautiful descriptions and so on. So maybe that would actually, you know, help us. But anyway, it will not maybe catch the gist of what we are doing, you know.
So you're saying that after 2 years, you still cannot put it in one, maybe 2 sentences?
No, I mean, it's so hard. I mean, maybe I could if I could concentrate, but I can't concentrate, you know, because of all these distractions, like, you know, screens and
You have attention
phones
span
and
like a
yeah,
golden, what is it, golden fish? No?
yeah, yeah, like goldfish, you know.
Goldfish.
Yeah.
Goldfish.
All right.
Okay.
Anyway, yeah, but you know, these were my reflections. You know, that we have something that is pretty much international, recorded in English, but it's so local. I mean, it's so niche, and it's so nice, I guess, to produce it. That
I wouldn't call it local. Niche, yes, but why local?
Well, it's local because why is it local? Because it's niche, you know. Isn't that like the same thing?
No.
Local stuff is niche stuff by definition.
But you could literally have students from all over the world, and people can listen to this show all over the world. How is local? Maybe I don't even
It would
understand
still
what local
be, it would still
means.
feel local. I mean, local in that, not like, yeah, it's right. We are not, I mean, you're in Kiev, I'm in Provence, in a small town. So, this is kind of, pan-European podcast.
Pan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a pan-European podcast, but at the same time, I think we're local in the sense that anybody, literally anybody, could approach us and ask us a question or something, and
And this means local.
I think, yeah, we are available to people.
This is how you
what
define local.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, because if you're global, imagine, a huge company like, I don't know, Google, or a huge brewery like Heineken. And now go and try and ask, a person who is responsible for whatever there, a question. I mean, it's impossible to get through all these info lines, tons of, bots, chat bots, and whatnot,
Okay.
And here you've got a direct access to the makers.
And still nobody leaves us a voicemail.
That's kind of, yeah, that's strange. I think it's the reason for that is, well, there are multiple reasons, but I guess maybe Spotify and its platform, of recording that and so on, is maybe not so friendly. I know. Still, we don't have any feedback about it, being unfriendly or not. All right. So it's time, Maciek, for you to record another.
Yeah, please.
Yeah, another voicemail so that we can play it. All right. These were my reflections, and it's still, I'm still thinking a little bit about it, about, and it has been on my mind for a long time. For example, who's better, Pep Guardiola as a coach, or your local coach from your local football school? It's quite interesting. I mean, at one point you want to have Guardiola as your coach, and if Guardiola can actually be your coach, I mean, you're on the team and you have a direct access to him, it's fantastic, right?
Yeah.
But if he's just, a YouTube tutorial or something,
yeah,
it's not the same.
Yeah, it depends
Because
on
I always,
also where you are, in your journey, which stage.
yeah,
Because at some point,
yeah,
yes, you would benefit. You overgrow, let's say, your local coach, or whoever local.
yeah, like the student beats them, the master, right?
So if
Something
we
like
are
this.
local, who is global?
In our industry, that's a good question. We are like, I know a bunch of local people in this industry, I think. Are there any superstars? I mean, there are superstars like
British
Scott
Council?
Turnberry. British Council is an institution, so it's not
But
any, I mean, it's
Heineken or Heineken is also an institution.
yeah, you're right. Can you get to the British Council for whatever reason? I mean, you could, I mean, they employ lots of teachers, right?
Yeah.
Maybe it wasn't the best parallel, to use Heineken. But what I wanted to say is that you have the direct access, and who knows if Pep's Guardiola influence is not actually because of his personality, not because of his whatever, knowledge about football and so on, but it's basically his personality that acts upon the players. Of course they have respect for him because of what he achieved as a player and not only as a coach, the same right now. But basically, Pep Guardiola is nothing when he's on YouTube, I mean, you can get some sort of inspiration from watching videos, and interviews with him and what he's talking about when he's talking about football. But it's nothing like, him sort of correcting you or correcting you. Please correct me. Him telling you something there on the page, when you train. So I guess, yeah, a direct contact is super important because it's not even the, it's not even the knowledge that they transmit, but it is their, God only
Can
knows
you
what.
imagine him doing a course, like 10 video lessons?
Mm-hmm.
Would it
Yeah, whatever. I
be
mean,
any
if it's
useful?
if it's even doable in football. I mean, what would he be talking about? I know dribbling or maybe some tactics or maybe, but no, that sounds weird, you know. I see there are huge limitations to scaling in education, you know.
Like mentals.
Yeah, like our like you know like what we are doing. I mean, I was thinking once, you know, about scaling, you know, growing in terms of, you know, first designing a certain method or methodology even, you know, and then apply, I mean, then training teachers in the same manner, in the same style, and then, you know, employing, of course, employing them and letting them teach in the same style. But that would be a disaster, I think. What do you think?
Yeah, how would you
It would be.
train teachers? Because it's
Well, there
so
is, I mean, teachers are
vast.
being
They
trained,
just
right?
need, yeah, but they are trained on particular techniques of teaching. And here to have a 1 hour of conversation like we have, how can you teach a person? You give them a list of follow-up questions, but no, you just have to have this good life. Or
Yeah.
is it?
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Let's not touch this, you know, because it's a sacred
It's like what I
territory.
said about primary teachers. I don't know how I can teach a person to be a good person. It's a parent's job.
And teachers too, I guess. I think school sort of retreated from that
Yes,
territory, you
it's
know.
more obsessed with knowledge right now.
Yeah, because school was like, okay, you know, but I think it's, you know, it's a problem that affects also our culture the same.
Yeah.
We are not going to tell you what is good life because everyone has a different definition of it, right? So I'm not going to tell people from the Middle East, you know, what is good life because my vision of good life is totally different from yours, you know. And that's why governments and schools, as a consequence, they removed the idea of good life from their programs, you know, and they focused basically on delivering knowledge and that's it, you know, because this idea of good life, it's, but you know, when you mentioned about this primary school teacher whose job is basically not to kill curiosity or just to care, right? And I think it's also a person who has a certain idea, even if it's not explicitly, you know, stated, but the person has an idea of good life, you know, and it's basically trying to not even impose, because it's not about imposing, but maybe to infect children with that, you know, to infect children with the idea of good life. And this is what works pretty well, and it's visible, you know. And then, of course, the more you remove this idea from you know, from your teaching, the more you get technical and so on, the less effective you are as a teacher, I guess. Or I was thinking about, you know, what I'm doing, and there is a lot of, let's say, good life. I know it's huge, guys. This concept is so complicated. It's very hard to explain, and I think it could even spark controversy, right?
Yeah, I still think, you know, the first thing, I can't fight this association, but when somebody says good life,
But I
I
was going
imagine
through,
a glass of
yeah,
wine and
I was
some
going through,
cheese on the
Masha.
beach.
Yeah, I was going through my questions, you know, like inspecting them in terms of. Sorry, I need to write maybe a bit
You need to
longer
write a
story,
lot
you
of
know.
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, I know, but I asked ChatGPT to design questions that are similar to mine, you know, and so I basically provided, you know, this set of 100 or more, a bit more questions to ChatGPT, and I said, now design 10 similar questions, and then it did it, and then next 10, and so on. And the questions that Chat came up with were sort of, I cannot say they were wrong. I could potentially ask a question like that, but I didn't feel them. I didn't feel like these are good questions for whatever reason. I was then thinking, why Chat is not able to, I mean, it's not able, or is why its questions are not, that don't feel so well like mine. And I think, well, first of all, it's because maybe, I'm critical of everything that comes from, from outside. It's not my design, maybe. But then I was inspecting, my questions, and there is a lot of some sort of good life that is implicit. Because if I'm asking, for example, about, if I'm asking about shyness and cowardice, or if I'm asking about free time, do animals have free time? And then, there's so many questions that you know very well, and we have been asking them over and over here in our podcast. I think there is one thing that you need to have to answer, and it's exactly this concept of good life. Because each question is putting certain, I don't want to say moral pressure, but sort of, yeah, I mean, you need to know what's good, what's bad, and this is basically what parents are doing, right? They teach
So maybe
children.
we should call it moral life or a virtuous life or something like that.
Yeah, but then again, I don't feel authorized even to teach about morality. I mean, who am I? I'm not a priest or I don't know what. I'm not even a saint in
Not even a saint, not a priest,
yeah,
not
not
even a
even a saint.
saint.
Yeah. No, but I don't feel, I mean, okay, I guess I'm a good person. I've never had any conflict with the law. I don't know,
Well,
I
that's
don't
enough.
cheat, I
You
don't
think it's
lie.
enough to make a person good?
Well, no, you asked me this question in one of the episodes. I remember, is it enough to be called a good person? And this is, again, these questions, they put certain obligation on people, certain responsibility. They place this responsibility very gently on the shoulders, under, let's say, the cover of linguistic training. But
Disguise, you
nevertheless,
mean?
so, I mean, I don't say I'm a cheater, guys, or an imposter. But yeah, I'll be lying if I said that my goal is to teach you present simple or present continuous, the right use of it. And I'm asking you these questions so that you can practice, for example, past simple or present perfect, because certain questions may refer to the past in some way, or to future, right? But no, I mean, it's not my primary concern. I always say that I'm always focused on the meaning, and the answer is more important than the language of the answer. You know what I mean? It's I'd rather people answer the question than answer, or than build correct language. You know what I mean? So yeah, but then I analyze this a little bit, and I think that what I'm basically doing is I'm placing certain responsibility on people, because you have to answer. Now the question is to you directly, and you have to answer it. What you answer is of secondary importance, honestly. But this responsibility that's on your shoulders right now, in round 1, round 2, round 3, and round 4, is basically some kind of weight that you have to lift, and I think that to do it, it's not like, yeah, you need to confront basically these questions with your concept of what is good life, I think. Because look at these questions, do more regulations mean more order? For example, that's one of the questions, random question I pick, So you have to kind of, dive into this world of regulations, and you have to decide whether regulating everything in life leads to order, or maybe not, to disorder. And then you confront it with your personal experience. And then, you have also certain
So
you
what
need to,
what do you do when you ask a person a question, and the person, you can see that he really thinks that an evil person can be wise? Are you going to try and
no, not at all. I mean, because I don't even know the answer. Who knows? Maybe an evil person could be wise. I mean, I have certain beliefs. I believe that if you're evil, then you are by definition not really wise, because if we assume that being evil means destruction, destroying stuff, So at the end of the day, you will destroy yourself. I mean, it's if you follow this line of thinking to the end, you will end up destroying yourself, because being evil means destroying, and this is not really smart thing to do, because unless your goal is, I don't know, to eliminate everybody else and be the last person on the planet, or something like this. I don't want to say that every evil person is the this is the idea of every evil person, but who knows? We have these concepts. I mean, concepts. We have these examples of Saruman and so on. Was still a wise guy, except
The
that
only reference, yeah. Ooh.
No, yeah, but I guess there's much more to it. But yeah, but anyway, what I kind of inferred from my database of questions is that they are specific questions that place certain obligation on people, and this obligation alone is teaching, not training. It's teaching. It's teaching people. It's not about suddenly answering like according to the book, but something happens when you receive the question, and it's like inside of you, you need to revise your values. Maybe you need to choose, or even you don't have to choose. You can go take the middle of the road sort of approach, but then you still have to ground your choice in this or that way. And I guess this is totally different than questions that target, I don't know, your last weekend or something. And that's why I think that there is a lot of this good life sort of concept in what I'm doing, but it's implicit. It's not like it's not like meeting a priest who's telling you or rabbi or what's the name of the Muslim guy? Imam, yeah, Imam, telling how to live proper, good life. No, it's just something that has to come or surface or resurface from you. It's not. I'm just I'm just asking questions. So I was thinking, sorry, to finish this line of thinking. I was thinking that if I was ever to write some sort of a book, a manual maybe for teachers, I would simply title it "Teaching Through Magic Spells." Yeah, because you throw these questions like magic spells, question, question. And these questions, they sort of work like magic spells, because first they elicit language, because these questions are like, give me that, I want the answer. I know the answer. It's just a matter of of verbalizing this. So on the one hand, they elicit language. They do beautiful things with in terms of production, because they and on the other side, they are not really controversies like abortion and all that, So, but they place this very delicate responsibility on your shoulders. It's like, okay, now you have to deal with that. To buy or to rent. I mean, there are maybe this buying and renting. It's like there's no moral stuff in there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but so I would consider these questions a bit more technical. But a question like, what's the difference between a tropical island and a paradise? It's surely there is something in it, like you need to have this concept of paradise, ideal place, right? And then tropical island, it's so nice, all right. So yeah, these are my reflections, a little bit about what is happening here in this little podcast. The same, because this little podcast is basically an extension of what we're doing, right?
It hasn't been happening for quite some time.
What do you mean?
I mean, can you remember an episode where we actually answered some questions?
Oh yeah, you're right. I
think
can't
we
remember
digressed a little bit.
Yeah. So Do you
So
think it's the right
what do you
moment
think?
to?
Can we give
No
any
way. You
promises
asked me.
in next season? What is it going to be like?
Yeah, we have to think about it because, as
Because
you
some
said, we are
episodes
the
are
most.
really teachery, maybe that we talk a lot about teaching and teachers and the industry. Some episodes we just ask people who live in interesting places, what's life like there? And
Yeah, you're right.
we
But like
started
you
with
said,
this formula,
yeah, we are, like you said, the most disorganized podcast hosts,
Yeah.
ever.
Ever.
and yet, we made it to our third year of existence. So it's amazing.
Against all odds.
Yeah,
Main
against
odd
all odds, exactly.
being we ourselves.
Yes, exactly. So that's great. I think there is chemistry here. There is, but I cannot tell you what's going to happen in season 7, which
Because
may
we have no
come
idea.
anytime soon. We don't know when. We don't even know when. But yeah, I would like to, honestly, if you ask me, like, ideally what I would like to have, I'd like to have guests each time. Guests who would basically contribute to this sense making that is generally or has been taking place here. I don't know if I'm making a lot of sense right now, or if I made a lot of sense last time when I was talking about the importance of
Probably
general
not.
English and so on. Yeah. but yeah, I would like to continue doing it this way. There's so much happening. People coming, using English, inspiring others to do it. I think there's so much happening here. I mean, in terms of education, but in the very broad sense, not just linguistic education, but generally, and also our exchanges. We exchange ideas, we exchange points of view, and so on, and we make people think and reflect, which is also, I mean, what else could you be hoping for?
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, it's really nice. I mean, this is what you said before, that people actually think along, or they can think along. It's not like we're experts, who provide, the answer to every question, right? We explore, and that's why.
Never.
Yeah. So yeah, these are my reflections after 2 years of recording. How does it look like from your perspective? I mean, what's happening here? How do you feel about the recordings and so on?
I have no idea what's happening here, but it feels great. It's every time a fantastic experience.
Yes, I think that's why we continue.
I hope it
Basically,
feels the same for our guests. Well, and they usually say that it does. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
I
that
hope
is
they're
great.
not lying. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, especially that podcasts. You listen to where do you listen to podcasts? You listen to podcasts when you're in the gym, or running, or driving, or something. So it's
Do you
at the end of
listen
the
to
day.
podcasts when you're in your gym? Do you even go to the gym?
Of course, yeah, of course I go. Can't you see that? Look at my body. Yeah, I'm going to the gym right now, and yes, of course I'm listening to podcasts. When I'm there, that would be a waste of time if I didn't. I mean, come on, it's.
I work out at home, and it would never occur to me to listen to a podcast.
I guess it's different, because
I'm
if you go to the
listening
gym,
very
they are.
careful to the teacher, what she's saying, because it's all, and it's a lot of things are happening, and I mean I have to control many things. I can't
Right,
imagine.
but you follow certain instruction.
Yeah.
All right, but no, it's not like this in my case. There's some random music.
You
And by the
run
way,
or
yeah, and by the
okay.
way, the music that's playing in the gym is pretty much the same all the time. So it's
Wow.
like, let's listen to something more interesting.
I
Yes.
listen when I'm walking.
Yeah, exactly. That's it. But that's where podcasts are fantastic for that. All right. So, Masha, that's, I guess, our birthday episode,
Yes, happy birthday.
Happy birthday to us, to the Thinking Out Loud podcast and to our fantastic guests. We've had quite a lot of them so far.
Yeah.
And hopefully we are going to have even more in the future. Just
Especially
to
from we have high
from
hopes
exotic,
for.
from exotic countries, exactly, from far away, from overseas. Why not? Wait for more details in the future. But there is something, Masha, I wanted to ask you before we say the sacramental thing. I forgot.
This is how well organized we are,
Yeah, exactly.
Are you sure you
So
forgot?
let me think, I want to ask you, wait a second, because you interrupted me with that, with guests. Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah. I wanted to say that, I'm hoping for more guests to come to this show to use English, not to, blind people with, their skills, fantastic skills, but to use English to communicate and to basically build some sense into this world, and it's not about being perfect or being I don't know what, so the skills that are required are, I would say, minimum. I know I'm speaking, from my perspective, and I know I sort of forgot how it feels, being a learner a little bit. I wonder if I actually took part in a podcast like that if it was in French, and would I actually join them with my broken French, still broken after 7 years. Come on. Speaks volumes about my method. Yeah, but no, I think if there was some kind of an open atmosphere, like, okay, come on, don't worry about your language, do whatever you want, and we will help you out. Yeah, I would join them for sure. And I would honestly, speaking of podcasts, but also, conversation classes, somebody asked me today on YouTube whether, I mean, I recorded a long time ago, maybe 6 years ago, I recorded a video of my reflections after 1 year of learning French,
Mm-hmm.
and I recorded that, and this has been my greatest YouTube video ever, with some kind of 5,000 views. Yeah, 5,000.
Wow.
I'm not kidding, Yes. And it's still alive. This video is somehow still circulating, it's somehow still being watched. And from time to time I get, some kind of a thumb up or some comment. And it's extremely nice, except that I'll be afraid to record part 2, my reflections after 7 years. Oh my God, I was so ambitious, when I was recording that video, and after 1 year, I was already okay. It's I'm doing fine, but I need more, And then what happened next? I just totally relaxed, and yeah. But what I want to say, somebody asked me in the comments section of that video whether I would like to take up or come back to German. I guess I mentioned in the video that I speak some basic German. That's why this happy birthday, or what was in
That
German?
explains it. Glück.
Yeah, viel Glück. Yes. All right. That was meant as a joke, but I couldn't find happy birthday in English, honestly. And that's the reason. 5 minutes before the recording. But
that's the level of work. Oh,
that's the level of organization, yes. But we should actually name this show like Organizing Out Loud or something,
Disorganizing.
Disorganizing, yeah. But yes, let me finish that thought, for God's sake.
Didn't do anything.
So I got the question whether I would like to come back to German and whether I prefer German over French. Of course, this question about reference, I didn't answer it because I don't know, it's weird to me. I don't have any kind of ranking of languages. I think I think all of them are worth learning and so on. But I answered that yes, I'd love to buy 1 hour of German conversations per week if these conversations were meaningful. I mean, if there was something like more or less what we are doing, but if that was in German or in French, well, it'd be so nice. I would honestly pay a lot to to have a conversation like this in a week. I would find 1 hour for sure. But the problem is that I don't feel like getting through these thousands of teachers on Preply, Preply, you name it, and other services just to find the right one. So that is my problem. But I would definitely, because every time I'm in Germany on my way to France and to Poland, if we are driving, I watch the German TV. Then occasionally I buy some stuff in a bakery or somewhere, right, where you have to, well, at least use the language. And I feel like, wow, this language is, it's within my reach. I know that I've been studying German for a long time in the past. I can't use it because I was basically a product of the education system that they teach you some stuff, but it's totally not practical. But I know that I have certain potential and I could get back to my German easily. But all I need is, this kind of, nice learning environment.
Any teacher on one of these platforms would be happy to have you as a student, because you say you don't need to do anything. I come with my own questions. You just need to listen. And
no, I would like to do that. I'm not going to supply my teacher with questions. Now you ask me the question that I prepared. Come on, I need to be surprised. Surprise me. Give me something that is, give me something that will make me think maybe a little bit, or something that doesn't explore my personal life. Something that, again, I will repeat, places a soft, delicate responsibility on my shoulders. Not asking me about abortion. Do you agree or you disagree? Why not? Because these are heavy caliber questions. But soft responsibility. Renting or buying. Come on.
I doubt you can find anybody who can surprise you.
After but yeah, I think there are still much surprising questions. It's not like the database is not yet full. Except these questions, they are rare gems. They are rare gems, and it's not you can't honestly even order ChatGPT to design them like this, by thousands. They are like truffles, so you need a really nice pig to find it in the forest. All right, that's what I had to say about my reflections on whatever is happening here in this podcast, and in my life, my professional life. You, Masha, you are a bit more reserved, but with your, with your reflections. But I know also that you
That's
work
my
a little bit.
superpower, the silence.
Yeah,
because
exactly.
If the silence is too long, it makes you a little bit uncomfortable, and you start thinking, what to say, and you talk and talk and talk. So that's me.
All right, great. You know how to elicit language, Great, guys. Thanks so much for being with us for the past 2 years.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, those of you who joined last week, thanks for being with us anyway.
Even 1 week.
But yeah, we are not moving, I guess, anywhere. So stay tuned for the next
episode. Next season? No.
Do you think it's the right time to start season 7 next week?
When is the right time?
We'll let you know, guys. If season 7 starts, you won't even notice.
Yeah.
All right.
Smooth. Okay. So this was another episode of the Thinking Out Loud podcast. Thank you, everyone, for being with us for however long. Stay tuned for the next one. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.